Hi, Dan.
Hey Bruce, how are you?
Good. How are you tonight?
Very good. I'm trying to admit everybody here. Hopefully I got them. Yeah, I don't think I'm waiting for anyone to be let in. I'm watching. Trevor, were you waiting long?
No, like 10 seconds.
Oh, good. Thank you. Okay, so Lauren, would you like me to make you co-host in case you see someone wants to come in?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. I just think the more eyes, the better. All right, so we have a quorum. Yeah. It's 7:02. All right, we ready? Let's call the meeting to order at 7:02.
Dan,
Yes,
could I just get the names of the new school committee members? I know, so there's you, Lauren, Stephen. What other changes have been made to the composition of the committee?
there's no new members yet.
Okay.
Election is coming up early June, June
So-
12th.
Okay, so are Katie and Jen still members then? Or are they?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Thanks.
Yep. And I don't believe Jen will be here tonight. I believe Katie will be joining us a little bit later. So I appreciate Lauren and Stephen being here so that we can have a quorum and move our business along. Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order at 7:02 and public hearings. Anyone that would like to speak? Okay. Reviewing the agenda and perpetual calendar. I don't think we need to move anything. Are you aware of anything, Jennifer? Okay. Warrants and gifts. Steve?
Oh crap, the 2 warrants are out in my truck. So I will send those to Trevor.
Thank you.
Bruce has
Would
already
you
sent
like
me some
to read
warrants
them?
as well.
All right, Bruce, do you want to state the warrants?
Sure, I can do that. So we have 3 payroll warrants. Warrant number 322 dated the 3rd of May for $68,715.69. Number 323 dated the 17th of May for $67,960.93. And number 324 dated the 1st of June for $71,636.85. And we have 3 vendor warrants. Number 3024 dated the 20th of April for $43,336.97. Number 3025 dated the 4th of May for $20,416.29. And number 3026 dated the 17th of May for $10,846.75. And I'm sorry I wasn't as eloquent as Steve usually is, but
I signed all of those except for the June 1st payroll.
All right, so we'll recognize that those warrants have been entered into the record. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve of the minutes of April 15th?
I move to approve the minutes for April 15th.
Any changes or amendments to the minutes? Or Stephen, you want to second that? Sorry.
Yes, I was going to second that.
I guess I'm moving fast. Any changes to the minutes?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor? All right, excellent. Bruce, do you want to give us an update, or maybe you and Stephen, on the unfinished business of capital projects, where we are or what's going on?
so I can tell you the roof is out to bid right now. I think Becky's expecting it back like on the week of the last day is the 12th. So I'm not sure if it's the 12th or the day before or somewhere around there, but it's just before town meeting. So she'll have a, she says there's a proposal on the town meeting to fund the engineering for the heat system. Updating the heat system. And that's all I know. Steve may and can update us on more of the other things there. So I'll let you report from your end, Steve.
No, that was it. But it's the gym roof that the finance committee has given the thumbs up to for this year.
Anything on the sliders? Nothing on the sliders, okay. Susie?
Capital planning recommended the 200,000 for the heating and ventilation, including the controls, and FinCom supported that recommendation. And the roof is recommended to come out of free cash, and the controls for heating and ventilation for 200,000 is coming out of is recommended to come out of stabilization. Hopefully, the American Rescue Plan will step in and pay for that, but it's my understanding capital planning was recommending this so that work could be done this summer on the
Great, Joe.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, maybe we can find out more about the sliders at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I think the slider, I think capital planning isn't moving in any direction on that. I think it's stalled at some level. So it's not in the capital plan, it's not in our recommendations. So whatever is happening is either happening at the school or will be happening later. I don't know.
The discussion on that was that since we had set the money aside to get the conference room sliders, we're going to try and do that and find some place to store them before the price skyrockets anymore. And we'll figure out how to find someone that's certified to install them later.
Right, because I believe the money was already appropriated for the doors themselves. And as far as I knew, the pricing had held. So we'll see where we are. So Bruce, if you can get back to us on the next meeting on that, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. I'll find out what I can.
Thank you. All right, anything else on capital projects? Let's move forward. New business, MSBA statement of interest.
So I'm reapplying. And this is a vote that needs to be taken by the school committee so that it can be sent along with the application. This is part of the application process. So.
And this is for the roof, is that right?
This is for the roof and we've included the boiler in there. We'll see where it goes, but it's roof and boiler.
Okay, so we need a motion to recommend that we move forward with an application for the Massachusetts School Building Authority statement of interest on funding for our school roof and other capital projects.
So
And
moved.
I believe you've got some specific language that technically has to be noted that we voted that language.
Okay, do you have that language in front of you?
I don't, hang on a minute.
If not, Bruce, don't worry about it. Include that language in the statement.
It should be in your packet of stuff. So hang on a minute.
Okay, I can.
Get it here. I know I had it up here a minute ago. Policy.
I don't have it in my packet, Bruce. Oh, wait a minute.
It should have gone out with the packet.
Yeah. I have it. It says, having convened in an open meeting on May 20th, 2021, prior to the SOI submission closing date, the Shutesbury School Committee, in accordance with its charter, bylaws, and ordinances, has voted to authorize the superintendent to submit the MSBA Statement of Interest form dated May 20th, 2021 for Shutesbury Elementary School located at 23 Pelham Road, Shutesbury, Mass., which describes and explains the following deficiencies and the priority category for which an application may be submitted to the MSBA in the future. Priority 5, replacement, renovation, or modernization of school facility systems. The Shutesbury School is asking for the replacement of the 35,000 square foot roof, which is 27 years old and is currently leaking after continued attempts to repair, and the replacement of 2 boilers that are 27 years old, and hereby further specifically acknowledges that by submitting the statement of interest form, the MSBA in no way guarantees the acceptance or approval of an application, the awarding of a grant, or any other funding commitment from the MSBA or commits the city, town, regional school district to filing an application for funding with the MSBA.
Thank you, Jen.
You're
So,
welcome.
So do you want to attach that to your statement, to the motion?
yeah, so I move that we move ahead with our application based on the language that Jennifer just
Yeah.
read.
And I
Okay, so
think the
that's-
motion could be to authorize the superintendent to submit to the MSBA
Okay,
the statement of interest form dated May 20th for Shutesbury Elementary.
great.
All right, so I believe you're amending your motion, Lauren,
Yes.
and Stephen, are you seconding the amendment?
I am seconding that amendment.
All right, now we have discussion. Susie?
I think, I thought the address came out wrong. Did it say 23 West Pelham Road?
Yes,
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear the west. Didn't
I
want
could,
them to-
I might have mumbled, Susie, so. it
I
could have
didn't
been
want
me.
them to send the money to somewhere else.
So in that is also the boilers,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Even though both the proposals that we had didn't recommend the boilers?
Well, sometimes it's easier to get more than less. You know, they'll fund the whole project, and we talked about this a couple of years ago, rather than just doing part of it, so. It's just, to me, it makes sense, because at some point in time, even though they say the boilers are fine, that we'll have to replace them in the next 5 to 10 years, so.
Okay,
And this, you know, they look at things long term, so.
all right. So there is a motion and a second. All those in favor? All right. All right, and then recovery preschool, school choice funds discussion.
Yeah, so I believe Jackie sent you the Shrewsbury Elementary School Recovery Draft. And it will, if you've read it, it communicates some of the components that Jackie is proposing to put into place to support our school community. Some of the elements in this recovery plan will be funded by grants, while others will be funded by school choice money if approved. And so one of the major components of the recovery plan is preschool. And we have a very large population of students needing individualized education plans in the pre-K range for the 21-22 school year. And this past year, we have not been able to offer a pre-K program to all of the eligible students in the town. After 14 months of almost total isolation, the 2.5, 3, and 4-year-olds of Shutesbury are in drastic need of socialization and developmentally appropriate academics. If we don't address the needs of these students next year, we are setting the stage for a difficult transition to school and school experience for this cohort for not just the following year, but other years to come. So to address this recovery, we are asking to use school choice funds to establish a second preschool for 1 year, thus allowing all of the eligible students to access a quality pre-K program, and to use school choice funds to hire a 1-year only certified preschool teacher and 1 or 2 paraprofessionals to support the programming and students. We've had discussions in the past, of course, about sustaining our budget with school choice money. This is not what we're asking this evening. We're asking for you to think about and discuss using the school choice money for one-time need. And this need is based on the pandemic and ensuing recovery needs of our youngest learners. And hopefully this 1 year of an additional preschool will be impactful on the social, emotional, and academic growth of our youngest students. Additionally, we're looking at a 1-year full-time academic interventionist to support our students in literacy in grades K to 4. And we will do some of the funding by grants, and hopefully it will be supported with school choice. But the bulk of the request is the 1-year recovery preschool.
Okay, do we have a motion to support that request?
I move to support the request for the recovery plan.
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion? Lauren?
I feel on top of the fact that the numbers for preschool are higher, I also think that the needs may be greater for this particular cohort, just because of students who would have been in school often were not. So I think those two things combined make it all the more necessary to have the two classes.
Okay. Stephen, do you have anything to add or any questions?
No, I agree that we really need to do this, to get this cohort started.
Great. And Ethan, I think you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, thank you. I'm a father of a 3-year-old, almost 4-year-old, and I just wanted to sort of like speak to that directly. I know a lot of other kids around the same kind of age, and you know, while we've been sort of like doing our best to kind of give them, particularly the social emotional education, the socialization that comes with that, you know, having kids that could get into the program or not by a lottery, I think would be really distressing to a lot of parents and potentially a big setback for a lot of the kids in the area. Sounds like there's just some support for this idea, but I just wanted to say how critical and important it is that, you know, the kids at this age, as a father of like a current 3-year-old who will be hopefully going to the Shutesbury preschool, in addition to my daughter in 1st grade next year, how important it is to give them that time, and that all kids from Shutesbury are able to come in and not half of them get sorted out because of the lottery and the pandemic. So just wanted to express my support. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Susie?
Are there any numbers, ballpark numbers, both for what the balance in the school choice is and what the cost estimate for this idea is?
I don't have the school choice numbers in front of me. Maybe Bruce does, but I could say that we would be able to afford those expenses comfortably. We
Yeah,
can
right.
provide.
By the end of the year, I'm expecting to have about $250,000 in our school choice account. And this will probably be somewhere in the $60,000 to $80,000 range, I would say.
And do you associate dealing with the space? Will there be equipment or setting up the space for the second class costs for that too?
I think the bulk of the cost would be the salary for the teacher and the 1 or 2 paraprofessionals, depending on the needs of the student. There may be some slight costs in setting up the classroom, but I think material-wise, we should be mostly set.
Susie, do you need hard numbers for the next meeting or anything?
No, you know, there's some grumbling about the fact that the school choice revenue goes directly to the school. And I have been saying that the school is meeting needs with that money. But it helps for me to give examples of what needs it's meeting. Back in February, there was the preschool, there was the technology update, and there was support for kids who lost ground. So I hear 2 of those, and I imagine, I don't know if there's a technology update still associated with school choice money for FY22, but I just want to be able to say this is what I specifically heard.
I think we have done some updating of the outside Wi-Fi, and I don't believe, Bruce, that came out of school choice. I believe we
No,
funded
it
that.
didn't. Yeah, we
Right.
were able to fund that internally or with grant.
Right, I think we're applying for a grant for that.
Yeah,
Back in February, there was discussion that the technology update would come out of school choice, and I don't know what
Yeah.
that translates to, but there might still be some technology needs that need to be addressed.
Mm,
I believe those technology needs was the Wi-Fi outside, if I recall.
mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so Susie, I guess I'm not clear. What is it that you need or looking for?
I need to be able to tell the FinCom that very specifically the school is using its school choice revenue, and these are costs that are not coming back to the town. They're being met through the school choice
Mhm.
fund.
Okay, so it definitely would include what we just discussed this evening, the second class or preschool program, paraprofessionals.
Yes. And then we also briefly talked about an academic interventionist. Some of that would come out of grant money, whether it's ESSER money, but a little bit would come out of school choice.
Mhm.
And, that depends on the hiring of that person and where that cost comes in.
Okay.
We do have the recovery plan draft that went to the school committee. We can share it with you, Susie, if
That'd
you
be
would
great.
like that.
Yeah, I would. That's helpful.
Okay. I will have that through Jackie or SES to you as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Okay,
And
any further-
please note it is a draft plan and we
Yep.
will continue to refine.
I have it on draft. Mhm.
any
Thanks.
further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, next is superintendent's report.
Yes, I'll just keep talking. So we did talk a little bit just prior about the recovery plan. One of the needs we are addressing in Union 28 and through being more efficient as a union is to hire 2 adjustment counselors. And that's coming out of grant funding. It's totally grant supported for 1 year to address the social emotional needs of all of our learners across all 4 Union 28 schools. Bruce, Pam, and I did a lot of work about the fiduciary side of how do we pay someone so they're not getting 4 paychecks or 2 paychecks. And Desi was very helpful in guiding us through that. We have hired 2 adjustment counselors. One will serve Leverett and Shutesbury. And the benefit of that is that adjustment counselor, especially for our 6th graders, will be working with the 2 schools that feed into the region. So I think that will be helpful. And the other counselor will be servicing the students of Swift River and Irving. I'm thrilled to announce that our adjustment counselor for Leverett and Shutesbury is Jessica Carlson Belanger. So we are sad for her to be leaving the front office, but we are happy to be able to keep her in Union 28 in a different facet. And the other adjustment counselor comes to us from outside the district. His name is Jamie LaFay, and he just got a tour of the schools, Swift River and Irving, and both principals were beyond thrilled. And he said, I wish I could start tomorrow. So we have 2 really enthusiastic adjustment counselors, and I think this will help address the needs of our students all the way through grade 6 in our Union 28 schools. I know you've heard that our Director of Student Support Services and my beloved colleague and partner, Prudence Marsh, is retiring at the end of the year. She was supposed to retire in January, but graciously agreed to see us through this pandemic year. So we are forever grateful. And I already cried earlier about her leaving, so I'm not going to cry this evening, I hope. We have hired a new director of student support services to begin on July 1. Her name is Karina Wislow. She comes to us from Hamden Charter School of Science. She has a background in all of the things that we are looking for that fall under her purview. She's currently a director of student support services. She has been a special education teacher. She has managed 504 plans. She has written grants. She has some background in universal design for learning. And I was super impressed when we interviewed her. She had listened to all of our school committee meetings for each one of our schools, had driven around the whole district before even coming to an interview. So we are thrilled to have her on board and look forward to welcoming her on July 1. And I think that's it for me this evening.
Thank you. Director of Finance and Operations, Bruce.
Okay, good turnout. So as we talked earlier, I'm working on the MSBA. I hope to have that filed in the next couple of days. I think the deadline's like next Friday or something like that. So I'll get that done. I'm also, Matt and I have talked, there's in the server room right now, we have a portable air conditioner unit that's kind of so we're looking to put in a permanent solution there. We're looking to put a mini split in that room. You got some prices, and then while we're at it, the room next door is where our student support people are. So I'm looking to also put some air conditioning in there because that's kind of in the center of the building with no windows. So we're looking at that. And other than that, just trying to get to the end of the school year. The budget looks good. Looks like we'll be able to return some money to the town. So
Great, thank you. Any questions for Bruce? All right, moving on. Principals report. I think we.
Jackie is unable to be here this evening, and most of her report was the draft recovery plan. In addition, she did conduct a staff survey, as I'm sure you all have heard, the CDC and Governor Baker relax the guidelines relative to mask wearing for children outdoors. And I believe Jackie did share with you the survey that informal survey she took regarding staff feelings about students not wearing masks indoors and outdoors and sharing materials as part of the governor and the department's relaxing of COVID protocols. They have mentioned that there is guidance regarding not wearing masks for children outside, and also to be able to share materials indoors. So you all have the results from the survey.
But are they still required to wear masks indoors though, right? In a school?
Yes, they are.
Right.
Our current policy, however, policy EBCFA does state that masks are to be worn at all times in our schools, and the policy can only be rescinded per school committee vote. And we would have to put it on an agenda. And then we would also on the agenda, if we decided to do any revisions or changes, would have to also put on the agenda that we are waiving our typical first and second reads and votes. And we'd have to take a vote on that as well. So just to let you know that the policy we currently have in place is not matching with the current guidelines. It's not a mandate, guidelines regarding mask wearing, and it is a school committee vote that would need to take place.
Okay. So is there a recommendation from administration to, I would say, amend the policy to reflect the guidelines? In other words, having masks worn indoors, but outdoors being.
I understand it's hot and steamy. At least this week it has been. I also know that there's 18 days of school left. My recommendation would be to keep the current policy in place. It certainly is a school committee vote, but I think, and the CDC has also said that keeping current school protocols in place is also recommended. So I feel like we've been really safe and come really far with minimal interruptions once we return to in-person. So my recommendation would be to keep it the same, but it is the committee's purview.
It's not on the agenda.
Yeah, Ethan, you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, just on this issue, and this is actually what I had signed in, hope to give input on in case it came up. Just to give again one parent's perspective, I have a first grader who's gotten very used to wearing, masks, very comfortable with it. And most kids I know around similar age, the youngest kid in her class, are similar. So we certainly don't consider it any hardship to for kids to wear masks, and other parents we know have a similar perspective, like especially with just a couple of days of school left. And again, we've kind of come so far, and it would be a shame to kind of just like change things, throw things up, and God forbid, have anything kind of like come of it. So just again, just one parent's perspective, but I think the kids are fine, totally fine with it. They're totally used to it. And at least this one parent would prefer that we'd stay the course.
Thank you. Lauren or Stephen, do you have any thoughts or comments?
Yeah, I do. I spent 2 days this week standing on the blacktop, having to stop traffic. And I was able to take an informal poll. And from the parents that I heard from, they would love to see the mask removed everywhere, but at least outside, so that as it is getting hot, that they would like to see their children be able to socialize without the mask on outside. Some of them were saying yes inside, but at least outside.
Well, the inside really isn't much of a choice because that needs to stay.
Right, I understand that. Right, that's Desi says they stay.
Mhm. Lauren, do you have anything to add or? Oh. You can't unmute. Okay. How about we go with a thumbs up or a thumbs down? How do you feel about maintaining the current policy or amending the policy? So current policy? Okay. Amending? No. Okay.
So Dan, if we decide to do something different, we would have to have another meeting, and then the agenda items would be a vote to waive our procedure and then a vote regarding revision or rescinding of. And I'm sure you know that, but I'm just entering that into the record.
Lauren?
I'm sorry, I was able to unmute. Yeah, I think the masks are hard and everyone hates them. But, the school where I work, we had a class had to quarantine just last week. So, kids are still getting sick, and these are the unvaccinated that we're talking about. So I personally would prefer to play it safe. It's also can be hard with the in and the out, and keeping distance and all of those things. So I personally would prefer to keep it the way that it is.
Okay. Trevor, can you make a note on our minutes that we'd like to put that on the agenda for the next meeting, please?
Sure.
Thank you. And obviously, Jennifer, you'll know what the policy number is and all of that to bring up. I appreciate that. All right. Technology here. I'm trying to get back to where I was. All right. Anything else there that you'd like to report on for or on behalf of Jackie?
Just lastly, that Andrea Darby and Jan Tyner will be retiring at the end of the school year. We are sad to see them go, but as always, we are happy when people can start a new chapter in their lives. And we're also going to be hiring a speech and language pathologist, as Lauren Shatton is moving on as well. So thank you so much to Andrea, Jan, and Lauren for all that you have done for Shutesbury Elementary School. You will be sorely missed.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, and we appreciate your service to all three of them.
Absolutely.
All right. If there's nothing else, let's move on to the Amherst Pelham Rep report.
Oh, hi, I can be quick. So item number 1, the region voted the MSBA for the middle school roof, and we'll see how that goes, just like Shutesbury. The second thing was that the graduation is at Look Park for the high school, And they are hoping to hear that they can enlarge the number of people that can participate, but they have not heard back from the Northampton Board of Health or Look Park itself. So, but they're hoping they can increase the audience participation. We opened the conversation to sixth graders coming into the middle school. And I went first and said I was happy to kick open the door to let anybody else go in that wanted to go, but that Shutesbury at this point would not be sending their sixth graders. And then I tried to, well, actually I asked the Amherst school reps and the Pelham school reps, and neither of them would tell me what they were thinking because they hadn't discussed it enough yet. So I can't tell you which way they're leaning. Although Amherst is leaning to fall of 2022, but in an emergency case, they may go through January of 2022. And the last thing is, no, I think that was it. Yeah, that is it.
Okay. Did Amherst have a problem?
Not that I know of.
Susie?
Is Leverett making a choice yet?
Leverett has never discussed it, and they're on their third regional committee member since we started the conversation. But I can say that when it first started, Kip Faunch was taken aback by it and did not like the idea at all. Whether that meant that he was afraid that Leverett was going to get sucked into it, I'm not quite sure. But no, I have no idea on any of the three.
I think my only comment for Leverett would be that I know Leverett is very cognizant of their fiscal situation. I'm not sure how that would have an impact on their school budget. It would probably affect them in a very negative way, I would imagine, but that's Leverett. Okay. Anything else, Stephen?
No, I think that is it.
All right. Union 28, I don't think, do we have anything to report, Lauren?
We did have our meeting on Monday. I presented my summative report and self-assessment on my goals and the standards and indicators. And we talked a little bit about regional efficiencies. And one of our goals is to look at ways we can either be more fiscally or otherwise efficient relative to transportation in all of our Union 28 schools.
Jennifer, that was just Monday.
Doesn't it feel like 2 weeks ago / yesterday?
It
Yeah,
does.
this would be my third meeting this week. So I was like, was that Monday or was that last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that was a very good meeting. I appreciated that, and especially the real keen focus on efficiencies throughout the union. So great. So collaborative, we have our meeting next week. I'm also on the finance subcommittee. We met earlier this week, I think it was, and that we have some recommendations to go before the board. The big news is last night we did have our vote for the next executive director for the Collaborative for Educational Services. We had gone through a very rigorous process, implementing a lot of, I guess I'll say, tactics on diversity, equity, and inclusion throughout the process from the very beginning, looking at advertising in a very different manner and advertising to lots of different places in order to really get a diverse pool of candidates. I believe we had somewhere over 80 candidates apply. those candidates then were screened for qualifications. Once those qualifications of those candidates were met, it was moved on to a screening committee. The screening committee was comprised of a variety of stakeholders, from board members, superintendents, community member, staff members. We had a diverse pool of people as well, representing different groups of people. They reviewed applications, that all information that could connect a person to their gender or age or race, sexual orientation was removed, so that they looked at each application sort of blind. So basically focusing in on qualifications. They then moved forward a total of 14 candidates to be interviewed by a separate committee, an interview committee that was also comprised of a group of people ranging from board members, superintendents, members of the collaborative that serve in different capacities, including with the Department of Youth Services. And 2 people withdrew, so we interviewed 12 candidates. Of those 12 candidates, 3 rose to the top. It's a great pool of candidates. It was amazing to hear some of the people. Just before we announced the 3 finalists, 1 did withdraw. So she was someone from Virginia. She withdrew her interest in the position and narrowed it down to 2 people: the interim executive director, Karen Reuter, and the superintendent of schools from Ludlow, Todd Gonza. Last night we had the final interview. This was after a process that included virtual site visits, town halls, collecting feedback from staff, feedback from board members, and the final vote, the vote was very close, but the board did decide to offer the position to Todd Gonza from from Ludlow. That'll be pending contract negotiations. The notification will go out, sort of a simple one from me through Human Resources somewhere this evening, and then a more formal one will come after contract negotiations are completed. I will say it was a very long, arduous, rigorous process. However, I would say if you have a good process, you have a good outcome. We ended up with 2 extremely talented individuals, great references, have done a lot of work in different capacities. It was a very difficult decision for the board to make, but nonetheless, we had to pick one. So I'm excited. I think, again, it was a great process, and I'm looking forward to, maybe a different energy that's going to bring maybe a little bit more towards advocacy. I know that Todd seems to have a lot of connections there at the State House through his current advocacy work. So we'll have to see how things go. Other than that, that's it. Any questions or comments? Okay. Jennifer, I know you were almost roped into that interview committee.
I almost was, and I'm kind of sorry I wasn't able to make it work. I do appreciate all the work the collaborative does, and I know Todd through superintendent's meetings, and I think it's a wonderful choice.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, like I said, the whole process was amazing. We integrated the social justice and equity team through the process, so it really helped us to really have a good diverse pool of candidates. It was great. All right, policy review. We have a final vote on 4 policies. We ready to do it? Lauren and Stephen, unmute.
Okay, I move that we I should do one at a time, right, Dan?
Let's do one at a time. We'll do them quick.
I move that we approve policy EBC, emergency plans.
I'll second that.
Excellent. Discussion. All in favor? Okay. Passes unanimously.
Okay, I move that we approve policy EDCB, emergency closing of school procedure.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Okay, I move that we approve policy EEAEC, student conduct on school buses.
I will second that also.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay,
And I move that we approve policy FA, facilities development goals.
I shall second that one also.
any discussion on that? All in favor? Okay. All right, so we have some future business dates of policy committee and other things coming up. So you can look at that and, oh, I'm sorry, Lauren.
I just wanted to say our next meeting is after school closes. So I just wanted to put out there that if we need to address any changes in the current policies at the school as far as masks and stuff, we would need to schedule something. So just to put that out there, if that is something that ends up being something we need to do.
Definitely, and we'll wait to hear if there's any need to do that from administration. All right, we can pass that along, Jennifer. Okay, yeah.
Will do.
All right, so is there anything else that we would need to talk about or discuss before we go into executive session, not to come back into open public session with respect to collective bargaining? All right, so hearing none. Trevor, you are free to go. We are not going to come back into open public session. Bruce, I believe thank you, Ethan, for joining us. I appreciate your input.
Thank you all for your service to our community.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And Bruce, you will be hosting this, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I think we have the link, is that right?
You should. I don't know. Yeah.
All right, if I'm not there in a minute, send it to me again, please, but I think I can get it. I have to do it from my phone. It doesn't work from my iPad anymore.
If you need me, I do not have the link.
Okay. All right, could you send it out to all of us again, Bruce? And Lauren, did you have a question?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
This may be scary. I'm not sure I can do it, but we'll see.
Bye, Trevor.
Good night, Trevor.
There we
So-
go.
Before we go, we'll roll call vote out. Hayes, aye.
Thomas Pape and I.
Sullivan, aye.
All right, and we'll see you shortly.
Bruce,
I
you
I
have that?
close this one and follow the next one.
Yeah. Do you think you got it, Bruce? Because I could probably just forward it to Jen. I know I have it.
That's what I was trying to do too, so.
Okay. See you around.
What are you, Thomas? There we go.
There we go.
You're emailing it to us, Bruce?
Trying to.
Uh,
Oh, there we go. Okay, Lander. Got it from Malcolm Brown. And Morris Thomas.
I'm the first one here.
Okay.
Do you want us to send that to you also, Jennifer? Or do you have it?
I don't have anything yet.
Lauren, can you send one to Jennifer?
Okay.
All right. I will do that. Lauren sending it to you.
Hang on a second.
Gotcha.
Uh,
I'm gonna leave, wait for it to come, and I'll text Lauren if I can't get in.
Okay. Thank you.
I sent it.
Bruce, do you have it too, or do you need it?
Yeah,
Do you want Lauren to send it to you?
unfortunately. I've got you stuck in the corner here, Dan. There we go. Hang on a second. Now I'm really done.
Do you want me to have Lauren just send it to you again?
No, I got it. I just need to cross out Lauren and then I gotta send it. There we go.
Okay, I'll exit out of this one.
Hopefully everybody got it.
Okay.
If not-
Lauren and I are here. Is everyone else there?
No, it's just us. I'll forward it to Steve too, Dan, just in case.
Good, thank you. Yeah, I see Bruce is.
Huh? There we go. Okay, I gotta shut off Google first. Or my other one.
Jen said she still doesn't have it, so I'm